Hey everybody, I'm Carrie, your wellness astrologer, and I'm here to talk to you about all the cool things that we have coming up, the expansive things that we have coming up now that Jupiter has finally moved into the sign of Sagittarius. So I didn't have a lot of time today, so I just put everything onto a bunch of sheets right here, and I'm just gonna read them to you as we go along. So one of my special gifts is my ability to kind of take all this information we've learned, this ancient information we learned from astrology, to kind of bring it down to earth so that you can see how you can use it in your everyday life, how it shows up in your everyday life, in your people, and your opportunities, and your circumstances, and how you can also prepare your mind and your body to be able to meet those challenges and take advantage of the abundance that also can show up as well. So I'm here to show you how to use this information and how to bring it to life in your personal life. So on top of that, I'm also a wellness astrologer. I'm also going to give you some ways that you can take care of yourself through this exciting new transit, because wherever we have Jupiter, we have a burnout. That's just the truth. So what does Jupiter in Sagittarius mean? When someone says, my Mercury is in retrograde, or, oh my God, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, what that means is that everyone on the planet is feeling a certain shift in energy. Everybody alive is feeling a certain shift of energy. Now, we can't predict what each individual is going to do with that energy. We just know that they are going to feel it. We still have free will. So no matter what the planets say, we still decide what we do with that energy, what direction that it goes. And even if we have different outcomes from this energy, because we're all feeling this shift, we can get a bit of a forecast into some of the areas physically and mentally that we as a collective will be open to experiencing. Okay? So with Jupiter in Sagittarius, we have the planet of expansion. This is the biggest planet in our known galaxy, Jupiter, okay? Merging with the energy of its natural zodiac sign partner, Sagittarius. There are 12 signs in the zodiac and 9 planets that we know of that correspond to those 12 signs. And Jupiter and Sagittarius correspond to each other. So basically, all of us are about to become like double Sagittarians, which is rad because I love Sagittarians. They're one of my favorite signs in the zodiac, besides Leo, of course. Now, if you know a Sagittarius person, you know what Jupiter in Sagittarius means is that all of us are about to have a lot of fun. The Sagittarian energy is all about exploration, spirituality, and philosophy. Sagittarius is an extremely intelligent sign, but it's intelligence in a certain way. Sagittarians don't like to experience things just by reading A Lonely Planet or watching a documentary on Netflix. Sagittarius is a very physical sign. If you know some Sagittarians, you know what I'm talking about. Sagittarius is a very physical sign. They like to get in your space. They like to touch. They like to feel. They like to taste, okay? If you know a Sagittarius, especially if they are feeling you, they will do anything to make you laugh. They will do anything to keep the conversation going. Basically, they will do anything to experience the moment with you right then. They're all about being in the moment. And they also want to exchange information with you and tell you what they have learned. So again, this is what we're all about to adopt. We're all about to become little mini Sagittarians. Sagittarius goes out into the world and explores so that they can learn new things and in turn teach new things. This is how the Sagittarian energy works. It must go out into the world, gather information, exchange information, then bring it back and take it somewhere else, gather information, exchange information. So they're basically just like all over the world, just like connecting. Sagittarius is like that craggy old guy sitting at the end of the bar. This is the way I envision Sagittarius. This craggy old guy sitting at the end of the bar. He shows up, he lays his bags down after this like amazing journey that he's just taken, and he has this amazing tale to tell you. And I call Sagittarians traveling prophets. because they're like that. You know, they always lay all their bags down and they're like, gather here, children. I've got this amazing thing to tell you. And not only do I have something to tell you, but I want you to tell me something, because now I'm going to take that somewhere else. They have to travel in order to gather information and expand our horizons. Sagittarius is all about expanding the box. Okay. Now, right now, we're all living in a box of our own creation. Everybody around is walking around with their own perceptions. And basically, that tells us what we know, who we are, who we can be. With Jupiter and Sagittarius, the walls of that box are about to move outward. We start to see that there's so much more space in there. There's more that can go into this box. There's so much more that can go into this box. And that's exciting. Why? Because for over a year, when Jupiter was in Scorpio, we were all living in a pretty fucked up box. So let's revisit Jupiter and Scorpio for a minute. Last year, Jupiter was in the sign of Scorpio. And if you know a Scorpio, and we all do, okay, they're all about getting to the fucking truth. Now, I love Scorpio energy, but it can be challenging when you're not ready for the truth. That's just the way it is. So no matter how dark, no matter how messed up it is, no matter who gets called out, what is in the shadows needs to be brought to life. That's the Scorpio energy. And we saw a lot of that stuff come out last year. We excessively so, which is where the Jupiter part comes in, because Jupiter is about expansion. So we got a little bit too much of it, is what I'm saying. We saw the rise of the Me Too movement. We saw the disintegration of our most beloved television dad. We saw political corruption come to the surface. Nothing new. We saw Nazi movements. We saw incel activity, and a lot of it had to do with death, sex, power, and the unveiling of what we consider to be taboo in our society. That's Scorpio. That's what the Scorpio is here to do. We also saw the ugly parts come to light, not only in the world, but also within ourselves. Now, I know a number of people, myself included, who experienced a lot of dark shit and had no idea what was hiding in our own closets, the skeletons hiding in our own closets. And so you may have experienced this as well. Some things that you thought were dead and gone, or you weren't even aware were actually there, kind of showed up. So like we all became Dexter for a little while last year. Now, the thing about Scorpio is that it's about death, but it's not physical death. It's transcendental death. It's like the burning down of something in order to rebuild it. So it's like the phoenix rising. By the time Scorpio is done with you, you are begging for a rebirth. That's Scorpio. So now that we have dug up all of our shadows, we're ready for some optimism. We're ready for some hope. We're ready for some change again. That's Jupiter in Sagittarius. Excuse me. So how is this going to show up globally? Every day is optimism. If you know a Sagittarius, they just see the silver lining of everything. Strangely, they are also just extremely, how do I say this? They just are very blunt people. So it's interesting. They see the silver lining of everything, but they're also really blunt with their delivery. We're also going to see a desire to embrace everything that is foreign from us, what we believe to be foreign, okay? We're going to desire to travel, to learn new cultures and languages. We desire to connect with philosophy and spirituality. So this is when everybody's going to get out their New Earth books again, right? And everybody's going to like go to their spiritual centers and get a new mentor, a spiritual guide. This also is going to look like people who are moving to different countries or retiring to different countries. People who've been in one country their whole life, suddenly realizing they can't afford to retire there, or there's no reason for them to stay there anymore. They're no longer afraid of expanding and going somewhere else. They're ready for it now. Sagittarius, like I said, is also extremely blunt. And so they say what's on their mind. So what we may also see in the coming year and a half is some hard conversations or very un-PC moments happening in the public sphere, happening in the global community. Because with Jupiter and Sagittarius, we're about to become a global community. And with Jupiter, there's always a risk of going overboard with something because Jupiter is big. Jupiter is about expansion. So we're also, there's this bit of gluttony that's part of Jupiter. Sagittarians are hunters. Once they have you in their sights, they do not let go easily. And this is something we're all going to feel too. Like, I got it. You know, I want a bullseye. I'm not going to let this thing go. And that's where the Jupiter and Sagittarius energy can kind of go overboard and go out of bounds. Now, how can this help you knowing about the Jupiter and Sagittarius energy? If you have a business, cater your business to serve people globally. Create opportunities in your business for people to travel, like offer retreats or faraway workshops. You may find opportunities abroad. You may decide to go on a trip and decide that you want to live there and want to create a business there. One of my astrological wellness coaching clients that I work with literally sold her home, put her family into an Airstream, and now they're traveling around the country together. This is kind of what we're talking about, the shift in energy that people will be experiencing. And you may see your friends and family start making these decisions that you never thought were possible for them. Well, now they feel the energy and they are moving the box outward. They now have the space to see what's possible. Anything that you are envisioning, make sure that there is a global and spiritual and philosophical element to it. And that's how you can use this energy in your business. Now, how do you take care of yourself for the next year and a half? Because these are two energies that are they're big deals coming together. Jupiter and Jupiter. And there's a lot of gluttony going on here. So we're gonna be in this space where we want more, and not in a good way, always. Okay. So don't be surprised if you actually want to eat more than you did before. If you gain a little bit of weight, if you want to have sex more, if you overdo your exercise routine. All of us are going to be feeling like superhuman beings right now, but even superhuman beings need to just sit the fuck down sometimes. So also what happens when you have the opportunity to expand your box? When your greatest opportunities, your greatest possibilities start to become possible, you get scared. It happens to all of us. So you're going to need something to help you with the fear that comes up when you're doing something new. This would be a good time, if you don't already have someone that you're working with, work with a mentor, work with a coach, work with somebody that's going to help you pass these fears and guide you in the right direction, because they're going to come up. I'm recommending that you start drinking skullcap and or chamomile tea. You can put them together if you want, to help you calm those nerves and get proper rest. Because the point is, rest is truly the only thing that will regenerate you. No caffeine or drugs are gonna do that. Nothing is gonna calm your muscles and let you actually go to sleep and regenerate like rest. Okay. So drink the skull cap to balance that Jupiter enthusiasm that we're all going to be experiencing. And if you know me, you know that I love to work with flower essences because they work on this very subtle emotional level. So to help you combat some of those old fears that are going to start coming up now that you have all this optimism and possibility, I recommend taking the flower essence called Mimulus. It's part of the original Bach 30 flower essences, but you could also find it through FES. You can always go on Amazon and just put up Mimulus in the search and see what comes up for you. Read the instructions to make sure you're using it correctly. Now, the flower essences will be a subtle release of fears and a great way to feel your fear and just do it anyway. Now, how to work with your personal Jupiter, because Jupiter will be in Sagittarius roughly for the next year and a half. Each of us will be experiencing that energy on a global scale. But we each have a placement of Jupiter on our personal astrological birth charts as well. And that's going to get impacted individually. So knowing what your placement of Jupiter is on your personal astrological chart, where it is currently transiting, will help you understand how you can best take advantage of this new energy and how it's actually going to show up. You can literally kind of predict how it's going to show up. So I encourage all of you to get an astrology reading from your local trusted astrologer. If you don't have a personal astrologer, I'd be happy to work with you. Just go to my website. It's empowerent-astrology.com and sign up for one of my reading or my coaching packages. Now, if you haven't had a full astrology reading in a while, I suggest you get a beautiful blueprint chart reading, which is a full reading of your natal chart. And if you're familiar with your chart or you've had a reading in the last month or so, you can go ahead and sign up for a quick transit reading, which will just focus on where your planets are right now, including Jupiter, and where they're transmitting and how they're affecting you and how they may affect you in the future. And I actually just want to leave you with a little self-love mantra that you can say every day to help you align with this new energy, because I want to be clear, because none of these things I'm talking about can be activated without this very special ingredient that only you can bring to the mix, and that is self-love. We all have free will, and we can always deny energy if we want to. So how do you bring this into fruition and into your life? You build your platform and your foundation of self-love. So let's do a little meditation together. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be well. May you be well. Namaste, and thank you.